I'm not seeing anything else.
Parang may naglalakad dun banda, guys.
Venturing into abandoned buildings alone can be terrifying. But what happens when you encounter someone or something you'd rather never meet? Like this first encounter shared by Urbex Hill. Some time ago, I showed you how Chris from Urbex Hill ventured deep into a long-abandoned prison hidden in the woods. What began as a typical exploration quickly turned uneasy. Lights flickering on by themselves, cameras that still worked despite years of neglect, and subtle movements suggesting he wasn't as alone as he thought. That first part ended abruptly, with distant sounds echoing through the corridors, and Chris realizing that someone else might have entered the building, leaving both us and his viewers wondering what happened next inside those walls. But now, we finally get to see the continuation of that same exploration, picking up exactly where Part 1 left off, as Chris discovers what, or who, was really inside that abandoned prison with him.
It's really creepy just sitting in here alone like this. I think they left. I don't hear any noise. They must have been like contractors or something. It sounded like they were using power tools. I don't know what those are.
The sounds had faded away, and so Chris decided to continue his exploration, though whether that was the right choice remained uncertain. Chris moves cautiously, whispering to himself, unsure if the noises he heard earlier came from workers or something else entirely. A few emergency lanterns still glow dimly in the dark, their weak light casting long, uneasy shadows across the peeling walls, as if whoever used them never truly left.
No inmates beyond this point. Wow. It's hard to believe this place is abandoned.
Further inside, signs of the prison's history begin to show. Faded warnings still cling to the doors, and the deeper he goes, the more personal it feels. An uneasy reminder of those who once lived behind these doors. Every corner tells a story, but none of them end peacefully.
Looks like they set a fire in here. Looks like inmates were trying to break out. That's crazy. Interview room. Oh, wow. A small interview room. Shit, that's loud. What is this? It's where they kept keys or something? Maybe keys for the cells. They're all empty. You can see. Oh shit.
Then came the sound no explorer ever wants to hear. Voices. Distant, but unmistakable. Chris freezes, the echo bouncing down the corridor. And then, faintly, dogs begin to bark somewhere outside. The sounds overlap. Short bursts of shouting, the sharp echo of a command. Enough to know it isn't just chance. It's security, or police, closing in. In that instant, Chris knew he had to get out. And fast.
It's the police. I want to quickly point out that the door I used to enter the prison is now sealed, which means the noise I heard earlier was workers sealing off this entrance, and I didn't even realize it until now.
With the door he had entered now sealed shut, it took some time for Chris to find another way out. Panic had already set in, knowing that every passing second could bring security, or the police, closer. The dogs were still barking somewhere in the distance, voices echoing faintly through the halls, pushing him to move faster. It must have been nerve-wracking, realizing that being caught here could end really badly. But after what felt like an eternity of running through endless corridors, he slipped outside into the cold night air and sprinted toward the woods. The forest was pitch dark, branches snapping under his feet as he ran without looking back. His only thought was to put as much distance as possible between himself and that prison. And in the end, after a long, breathless run through the darkness, Chris managed to escape, just barely. By the time he stopped, the barking and shouting had faded into the distance. He was shaken but safe, the adrenaline slowly giving way to disbelief over how close he had come. Whatever had been happening inside that building, one thing was certain: he wouldn't be forgetting that night anytime soon. What Chris found inside that prison was a reminder that some walls never truly let go of their past. But the next story takes us somewhere much older, deep beneath the earth, where a pair of explorers discover a door that was never meant to be opened. On the Romanian countryside, two explorers, part of the channel Vanatorul de Comori, descend into a vast cave system, a place few have ever dared to enter. But after hours of crawling through narrow tunnels and wading through underground streams, they suddenly stop.
Fiți atenți, da, am dat de poartă. Am dat de poartă, uitați-vă acolo poarta. O ușiță de fier. Ce caut la ușița asta de fier aici?
Their lights catch on something unexpected: a gate. A small iron door wedged deep within the rock, far beyond where any man-made structure should exist. Rust clings to its edges, and the surrounding walls bear no sign of modern work. It looks ancient, deliberate, and out of place. The men whisper in confusion, trying to make sense of why a door like this would even exist here.
Aici e multe. Se bagă amândouă. Hai care Asta bine acum stau camera. Aveți mare grijă. Vedeți de ce nu mă îngraș și eu? Că altfel nu intram eu pe aici. Bun. Fiți atenți, dragi prieteni. Ce caută portița asta?
Was it placed to seal something inside or to keep people out? Its position makes no sense. Not at an entrance, but buried hundreds of meters into the earth. As they squeeze through the narrow opening beside it, their flashlights flicker across cold metal and stone, the air growing heavier the further they move.
Acum spuneți și voi, ce să caute poarta aia la câteva sute de metri, dacă nu un kilometru, în peșteră? Ce părere aveți? Ce să fie poarta aia? Fiți atenți că nu se gata peștera nici aici. Ia uitați-mi la asta. O gură pe mare adâncă. Se face și stânga și dreapta.
Behind the gate, the passage opens into a wide chamber. Stalactites hang like frozen daggers above him, and the air feels colder, older, untouched for centuries. Yet even standing inside this open space, the question only grows stronger. Why would anyone build a gate here, so deep underground, guarding nothing but more empty rock? To the two explorers, it makes no sense at all. It's as if the door was never meant to protect what's behind it, but rather to warn anyone who finds it, not to go further.
Predatory che rimanete.
Aici trebuie să-mi trag pieptul.
Da.
Ce înseamnă să fii slim? Bun, am reușit.
They speculate. Could it have been built during wartime, a hiding place, or perhaps something far older? No one knows for sure. Even the locals, they later explain, have no memory of who placed the gate there or why. Whatever its purpose, one thing is certain. The deeper they went beyond that gate, the stranger the cave became. The air grew heavier, the walls damp with age, and the silence pressing in from every side. For a while, they pressed on, following narrow tunnels that twisted deeper into the mountain, each turn revealing nothing but more darkness and decay. Eventually, realizing how far they had ventured and how isolated they had become, the men decided to turn back. Their lights guided them through the same tight passages they had squeezed through before, their breaths echoing off the stone. By the time they emerged back into daylight, the cold morning air felt unreal, as if they had just stepped out of another world entirely. But that iron gate still lingers in their minds. Who built it? What was it meant to keep hidden? Some questions, it seems, are buried deep for a reason. They escaped the cave without answers, only questions about what was meant to stay buried. But this next story unfolds in a place built for learning, now left to decay, where the echoes that remain don't sound like students anymore. Once one of Cavité's most reputable international schools, this building has stood silent since the pandemic forced its closure. Over the years, caretakers and locals began sharing unsettling accounts, strange sounds echoing from the hallways, and sightings of a shadowy woman wandering the upper floors. Tonight, Jayski returns to uncover whether there's truth to those stories.
So yan, tubig din siya. Tapos yung mga pader guys, may mga nakasulat siyang Bible verse.
Medyo tuyo ang sahig sa katapat na itong silid, kaya pinasok ko na ito.
Ito, medyo tuyo to. Pwede natin pasukin to. So makikita nyo dito sa kwartong to, ayun yung Bible verse dito. Pero iba yung vibes dito guys. Medyo creepy siya. Lalo na tong hallway na to. Kaso nga lang, puro tubig. Hindi ko na mapasok yung mga kwarto. Alright guys, nandito tayo ngayon sa isa sa mga parte ng eskwelahan na to. At naglatag ako ng mga equipment dito sa kapaligiran. At sisimulan natin magtanong kung totoo nga ba ang mga paranormal na nangyayari o meron bang kababalaghan na nangyayari dito. So, tara, simulan natin magtanong.
Inside, the air feels damp and heavy. His flashlight cuts through long corridors lined with empty classrooms, walls collapsing, floors submerged, the smell of decay lingering everywhere. And after having seen almost every room of the school, he sets down his equipment and begins his investigation, calling out softly into the dark. The response comes not through words, but through the faint flicker of a small ghost ball on the floor, lighting up, even though nothing has touched it.
Ako po ay naparito lang para kumuha ng dokumentaryo. Oh shit!
Medyo kinakabahan na ako sa mga oras na ito, dahil ang bolang ito ay hindi iilaw hanggat hindi mo hahawakan.
Milo yung ghost ball natin guys. Bibigyan kita ng dasal.
Isa itong maliit na boses na bigla na lang nagsalita sa aking spirit box.
Mag-aantay ako ng sagot. Pwede mong lapitan yung mga gamit na nilapag ko.
Tara, may naglalakad dun banda guys.
Hindi ko sure kung rinig ba dito sa audio natin, pero may narinig akong mga yabag.
the atmosphere shifts. The once still air now carries the sound of footsteps, distant, uneven, moving through the flooded rooms. Jaski pauses, listening. The school feels alive in the worst possible way. He follows the sound, but each time he nears its source, it stops. Only the dripping of water and the hum of his recorder fill the silence, but that silence didn't last long.
Guys. Parang may mga yabag dun, guys.
Kaya lumapit ulit ako para tignan kung ano ba talaga ang meron dito.
Andito ka na ba ngayon?
Again, footsteps. This time, heavier, as if circling from another hallway. The camera catches only darkness, the beam of his light shaking slightly as he calls out again. Eventually, Jaski decides to end the session. The air feels heavier now, almost pressing against him. As he packs his gear, he speaks softly into the quiet, asking that nothing follows him home. The school, once filled with the noise of students and life, now seems to breathe on its own. Walls creaking, water dripping, and something unseen watching from the dark. Outside, the night air feels like relief, but the memory of those faint footsteps and the low voice from the spirit box lingers. Was it simply echoes bouncing through hollow rooms, or something still lingering in the place where so many stories ended abruptly? Some places, it seems, don't need to show you ghosts to remind you they are haunted. Their silence alone is enough. But what do you think Jaski really heard in those dark corridors that night? That school showed us how silence can haunt a building long after the people are gone. But the next place isn't just silent. It's sacred ground turned restless, where the line between the living and the dead has been crossed too many times. Franco Travels is run by Franco, an explorer known for pushing boundaries, venturing into places most people would never dare to see. From forgotten catacombs to decaying churches, his investigations often blur the line between history and the unknown. But this time, even he admits the place feels different. There are explorations that take you through forgotten buildings and empty ruins. And then there are places like this, where the past doesn't just linger, it surrounds you. In this episode, Franco ventures deep into an abandoned cemetery, a sprawling burial ground notorious not just for its neglect, but for the whispered tales of witchcraft, desecration, and forgotten souls said to dwell within its crumbling tombs.
So I've made it to one of my most favorited sacred graveyards. It's a huge, abandoned, not abandoned graveyard, but the security here is ridiculous. And if they even see me, they could threaten me with jail or whatever, but I'm gonna do it for you guys because I know you guys like this and I love this kind of stuff, and there's no reason why they should be hiding this. Let's get into the video. I am in a very hot area, so I have to be extremely careful and fast. Look at this. This is an area where they do a lot of witchcraft at. Like a ton of witchcraft. But this area is highly secured with security everywhere. Look at this, right over here. So I wanted to show you guys. That's a skull, and somebody put a towel or underwears or something over its head. And then that's like in the shape of a cross. These are all real bones from people. Look at that. And a knife. That is insane.
From the moment he enters, the tone is unmistakable. Multiple scattered bones and offerings, skulls covered with cloth, candles burned down to stubs, and black pouches said to hold the remains of animals used in ritual. Franco's voice is calm, but there's a tension beneath it. The awareness that this isn't just history he's walking through, but something still active, still being used.
Now usually right through here, towards the left, you start going through there and you start seeing a bunch of abandoned locations. I mean, it just goes. But so far, not much is going on. What sucks about today is that even though it's like quiet, there's not that many people around, it just gives the police or the security officer here more of a suspicion, like, oh, what is he doing by himself, kind of walking through the area. And that's what's got me nervous, because I kind of stand out now because there's a lack of people. Oh, there's tombs here too. This whole area here, it's just abandoned cemetery. Look at that. Oh, there's clothes. That's what's on the inside. All right, so I'm now making my way into the bottom of this place. It's called number 15. I don't know what to expect down here, and the sad part is I forgot to bring my flashlight. Look at this. Whoa, this place is huge. And completely empty. This thing just goes on forever.
Moving deeper, he descends into the underground chambers. The tunnels stretch endlessly in both directions, the air stale and unmoving. Down here, every sound feels amplified. The scrape of his shoes, the quiet hum of distant movement.
So I'm a little bit concerned because I feel like when I came in, I saw them searching people's book bags, and I feel like they're probably gonna search me on my way out of here. So I'm gonna take the SIM card out of this, switch it to my phone, and put my phone SIM card into this, or you guys, so that way I could show them, look, there's no footage in here. This is for something later on. I also have my knife and all my survival stuff inside this, so they're gonna think I'm weird, but we'll see how that goes. Look at this. It's crazy because you could just keep on going. One of my dream locations to record at night. I would absolutely love to be in this place, but they definitely would not let me.
He mentions hearing a voice, faint and melodic, though no one is visible. It's a reminder that his biggest fear in this place isn't the dead, but the living, the guards, or perhaps those still practicing their rituals in secret.
Okay, so update. I actually had to leave the area I was just at. Security came down there just like I predicted, and they said, yeah, the cemetery's closing soon, you have to leave this area. So I'm like, oh, okay, lucky enough they didn't see me. There's a bunch of bees right up there. Jesus. I don't even know if that's what hit me in the head, but something touched me. Did I get stung? But anyway, yeah, they told me to leave, so I left, but I made a quick beeline to one of the areas that I was recording with the live stream. But this place has a lot of stuff. Check this out. Look at this. That is... I love these old pictures, man. They are really cool. Very vintage, like, oh, what is that? There's something on the inside of there. Hopefully I don't step on another snake. On my last video, oh, is that a dog? What the hell? Look at this. That is a dog bone. Unless the guy wanted to get buried with his dog, maybe. But as you can see, I'm now in a much more abandoned area within this part of the grave. But I still have to be careful because these people are going to be on me like white on rice. Look at that. That's the top of a skull. I don't know why they break it, but they're not supposed to break it, but I don't know what's going on. Maybe it falls or breaks over time because they're so gentle. These tombs are super old. See if I can find a date on one of them. 1919. That's a yeah, they get older too.
Back above ground, the sense of unease only grows. He finds tombs cracked open, skeletal remains half exposed, their plaques and covers long stripped away. Some graves still bear offerings, flowers, candies, white candles, symbols of remembrance or protection, depending on who left them. Others are charred, blackened by fire. The deeper he walks, the more chaotic the burial ground becomes, as if time itself has unraveled here.
There's so many tombs after tombs here with just skeletal remains everywhere. You start to get used to it. Look at this one. You can even see the skull back there. So I've made it to this place, which seems to have changed a lot. And it just goes all the way down. But everything seems to be somewhat in pristine condition. Oh, that's the one that's completely open. Oh, look at this one. Can you see the name? I can't even read it. Alejandro, I think. Now, if you're wondering if it smells, I don't smell anything. There's no crazy odors. Oh, look at that, even the flowers. I wish I had a better flashlight, but I had to play it safe on this video.
The air feels different here, stiller, heavier, as if the place resents being seen. Franco notes that the desecrations are often done by those meant to protect it, desperate workers selling fragments of the dead for scrap. It's a thought that lingers, not just the loss of dignity, but the quiet realization that the sacred can be eroded by something as simple as hunger.
I think I'm gonna get out of this place. It is getting extremely dangerously close to go time. I do see a lot more exposed tombs towards the back end here. I'm gonna go head upstairs and get the hell out of here.
After all, this place holds the remains of countless lives, some remembered, others long erased. As he makes his way toward the exit, Franco passes rows of names carved into fading stone, wondering how many of them still have someone left to remember them. It's a heartbreaking sight, to see graves broken open, bones exposed, and the remnants of rituals scattered among the dead. There's something deeply unsettling about how, instead of letting the departed rest, people now use their remains for witchcraft and offerings, as if even in death they're not allowed peace. As he finally reaches the gates, the police are stationed just beyond, but somehow he slips through unnoticed, a rare stroke of luck. Still, it's hard to leave a place like this unchanged. The images stay with you, skulls beneath sunlight, candles burning beside broken graves, and the quiet question that haunts every frame of his footage. Was this once a sacred resting place? Or has it become something far darker? Franco walked among the graves of the forgotten, but the next explorer steps also inside a place meant for the dead, but then in a different way. Solo exploration is a channel run by a man who ventures alone into the wild, exploring untamed landscapes, forgotten buildings, and sleeping wherever his curiosity takes him. From overgrown ruins to desolate woods, he's built a reputation for pushing the boundaries of solitude and courage. But in this video, he takes that challenge one step further. This time, he's decided to explore and spend the night inside an abandoned morgue. What begins as a bold adventure quickly turns into something far more unnerving than he expected.
Okay, now this one I am a little bit worried for myself for, but we shall conquer it, no matter what. Oh yes, that's the sign we're looking for. Hospital. Oh, what a creepy little bridge. Check the settings. Got trees all around that side. And then this side, you've got the sea down there. It's not Eerie yet. Daylight, feeling good. It's just a weird looking ass bridge. There is cameras on that. What I'm gonna do is quickly go around the side. I'm gonna scope out the whole.
The road leading to the site stretches endlessly through open countryside, with the occasional rusted sign hinting at what once stood nearby. A hospital, long since closed and left to decay. By the time he reaches the morgue, the building looms in front of him like a relic from another time, its walls sealed with metal boards, warning signs clinging to the gates. Cameras hang from rusted poles, their lenses cracked and seeming lifeless, but still unsettling. He moves carefully, circling the perimeter to find a way in, taking mental notes of every possible route and hazard. There's something about the silence that feels unnatural, as though the place is waiting for him to decide whether to go further.
Instead of doing what helium does and making you high pitched, that'll make you like really low. This building is alarmed, all of them keep saying that. All padlocked, obviously. These two cameras up there. None of them cameras look new though. So I'm not too bothered about them. They look well outdated. I'm just fully scoping out this building now, because I've got all the way here. I've just got to assess it. These look like it's been recently boarded up as well, for fuck's sake. Never gonna open, is it? New entry building to asbestos contamination within. Please contact the hospital. What the fuck? That took me by surprise when I first heard it. Sounded like it was coming from behind my ear. Fuck it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my jacket on. I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna grab a head torch out. I'm gonna drop in. We're gonna explore it no matter what. Jacket, just to stop all of the dust and crap getting on me. Grab my head torch out. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, people. Glove. Potentially a face mask, eh? Leave that there, that'll be sound. You guys are coming with me. Can you believe I've just got through there? Wow, I landed on that. Put this on because I kicked off all sorts of shit.
After several attempts, he dropped inside, landing on debris and layers of dust. The air is heavy, carrying the distinct scent of chemicals and age. For the first time, he's inside. His flashlight sweeps across the floor, revealing what's been left behind: body trays, surgical tables, and equipment frozen in time. Everything here tells the same story. The work stopped suddenly, and no one ever came back.
It's all boarded up now. You got a sink, side there just covered in shit. All the floors covered in shit, man. See this, they used to operate on the bodies. Phone there. The body bags. Oh my god, man, how eerie is that? Still got the cloth tissue down on it. Refrigerators, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Used to wheel bodies through on them. And these, obviously. Crazy. And what's in here? A little chapel. Oh my god. Wow. A little heater, I'm assuming. Got a light. A little chapel here. Bring the body in. Family could say their final goodbyes, identify the body, etc. Wow. I'm just going to get a few pictures here. That gap was so tight, man. I got really dirty getting in here, but... I could sleep on this as well if I can get my bag through there, but look at the fucking size of that, man. Tiny. I don't like looking through this, though. I feel more comfort in here, where they used to work on the bodies, than with that refrigerator and that trolley. That trolley's creepy, man. There's even still a lab coat there. Pardon the pun, but that gives me the chills. How tatty that pillow is.
The morgue looked decayed, but also almost untouched. Equipment still in place, tables and trays waiting as if time had simply stopped. Every detail felt frozen in its final moment, eerie in its preservation, yet fascinating to witness. In one adjoining room, he even found a small chapel, perfectly still and filled with the heavy quiet of forgotten goodbyes. It was both haunting and captivating, a place built for death, yet somehow still alive with echoes of the past. The idea of sleeping in this place sent chills down his spine. Every shadow seemed to carry a story, every sound a reminder of where he was. But after coming all this way, turning back wasn't an option. He had made up his mind to stay the night, no matter how uneasy it felt. What he didn't know, however, was that the night ahead would only grow stranger and far more unsettling than he could have imagined.
Stay on there. It's getting all of my stuff through that. I don't think you can comprehend the size of that. Like, I'll go outside, I'll grab my stuff, I'll reassess what I'm going to do. That was my goal. What I'm going to do is chill out here for a bit, and then when it gets dark, I'm going to have to waterproof my bag, take out what I need for sleeping with. I'm going to have to lower it in through the roof, and then I'm going to have to drop in myself. If there's any updates, we'll check back in. That was security with a dog. Just an old man with the shirt that said something about the hospital. Said they've had a lot of break-ins. I'm just fucking chilling here. People want to get inside and have a look and stuff. You know about urbex if you're into security for sure. But to imagine someone on their own staying the night. Check that out. I can see like a lion there. I can't sleep there unless I come back with a smaller bag. So I'll definitely do that again. Now I need to go find a nice spot I can put my tent up. We are persevering. I'm dropping my things in. I'm gonna climb down. I'm gonna fast. So I've just had some snacks and stuff. I've already cooked up and had some food when I was down there chilling. But for now, I'm gonna get myself in there. Let's go. And we're in.
The narrow entry point made hauling his equipment inside a challenge, but he refused to give up. He sets up his gear, and when everything is ready, he sits for a moment in the dim light, collecting his thoughts. Outside, the last traces of daylight fade, leaving the building swallowed by darkness. Inside, the only illumination comes from his torch, its beam cutting through the dust hanging thick in the air. The morgue is silent, completely and unnervingly still.
And that is us. We have our bed sorted, made up, ready. I think I'm going to close these double doors because I don't want to be looking at any of that. This is bad enough in here. We'll obviously be keeping this on for most of the time because I do not trust the air quality in here. Put a pillow, sleep in that, sleep in there. Close the door now. That's a bit weird, but it is what it is. I still can't get over that little tiny hole to get in here. It's a fucking nightmare. Better I am though. Who else is doing this? Sleeping on my own in the morgue. I am trying to keep my voice down as well because if they are patrolling, don't want him to hear me. I was just hearing some really weird noises. It's too quiet at the moment. I don't think you'll hear it. I'll try and record if it does it again. Is there anybody here with me? If there's somebody here.
The hours crawl by. He keeps his voice low, knowing that security sometimes patrols the grounds. Yet even in the quiet, he begins to hear faint noises, soft taps, and distant clicks, almost rhythmic. At first, he dismisses them as the building settling, but they continue, irregular and closer each time. The atmosphere grows heavier, the kind that makes you question whether it's the mind playing tricks or something unseen responding to your presence. Despite the tension, he stays calm, documenting everything.
Now obviously, this is light with my torch and stuff, so let's just turn that off and... Well, I'm getting pretty tired. It's getting pretty late.
Eventually, exhaustion takes over. He settles into his sleeping bag, keeping his flashlight close by. The cold from the tiled floor seeps upward, making rest difficult. Still, he manages to drift in and out of sleep, waking several times to sounds he can't quite identify. But the night passes without incident. No footsteps, no movement, just a deep silence that never truly feels empty.
I'm gonna get ready, jump into bed. If there's anything to report, I will. If not...
By morning, the mood shifts. Light seeps faintly through broken panels above, cutting through the darkness. He begins packing his things, relieved but still thoughtful. As he climbs back through the narrow gap to the outside, the sounds of the forest return. Wind in the trees, distant birds, life continuing just beyond the morgue's walls. Only now does he mention what he kept to himself the night before. A tapping sound that seemed to come from every direction, and a strange sensation, like pressure on his leg while he tried to sleep. It was faint, fleeting, but enough to make him wonder if he'd truly been alone there after all. Looking back one last time, he reflects on the experience, how surreal it felt to rest in a place meant for the dead, and how small the line can be between curiosity and fear. For him, this was more than a test of courage. It was a reminder of how quiet spaces can sometimes hold the loudest echoes. In the end, he leaves the morgue behind, carrying with him both the footage and the lingering thought that not every silence means emptiness, and not every night alone stays that way. He spent a night surrounded by death and left with only questions. But the next story moves from the stillness of a morgue to the open air of a cursed bridge, where something ancient still waits to be seen. An explorer in Indonesia decided to test his courage by exploring a bridge long abandoned, all on his own, a place locals speak of only in whispers. Once part of an old mountain road, the bridge now stands in decay, swallowed by nature and fear alike. For years, it has been the center of dark stories, a place said to demand a sacrifice from anyone daring enough to cross it. What began as a simple ghost hunt quickly took a darker turn. The man filmed himself walking across the broken structure, the sound of running water echoing below, when suddenly, he mentioned feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though the air itself had changed. And then it appeared. In the distance, a pale white figure floated silently above the treetops, what many believe to be a kuntilanak. In Indonesian folklore, this vengeful spirit is said to be the restless soul of a woman who died during childbirth, forever draped in white and known to lure the living toward death. Those who have seen her claim she brings sickness, tragedy, or worse, a fate that follows anyone who dares to return. Despite countless warnings, explorers and investigators continue to visit the site, hoping to capture proof of the supernatural. But as this footage shows, some places are not just haunted, they're forsaken. And the question remains, are there places so cursed, so consumed by what lingers there, that disturbing them is a mistake no one should ever make? And with that question lingering, we move on to this last story that shows that you don't always have to go looking for the haunted. Sometimes it moves in with you. This next footage you're about to watch comes from the channel Really Haunted, run by Lee and Stacy, a couple whose everyday life has turned into something out of a nightmare. What began as a series of strange knocks and whispers inside their home has now become one of the most well-documented poltergeist cases online. Every day, every night, every moment, caught on camera. Though this house isn't abandoned, it might soon be. The longer this unseen presence stays, the more it drives its owners toward the edge, until the home itself feels less like a place to live and more like a cage they can't escape.
Creaking upstairs, but lights on, and I'm not seeing anything else. That was a lot of bangs. better, a bit of light. These are a waste of time, really. Like, there's that many missing. The obligatory check on house. That's how much has it moved? I'm pretty certain it's usually goes way back there. That's actually just moved a good bit.
It started quietly, faint creaks, the kind that make you second-guess your own hearing, followed by really loud banging. But soon, objects began to move on their own. A heavy trampoline in the garden shifts several feet across the yard. Lee tries to remain calm, talking through the activity as though reason could keep it under control, but the tension builds with every unexplained sound.
Yeah, I'm desperate. I've upped my game now with cameras around house, but I'm still lacking on the outside department. I need like a ring doorbell and just one of them at backyard, and then we'll be all right. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on watching my film. Try and get camera in here. It's like attached to a friggin' extension lead here. So I've literally just come out of here, just been told.
The door slams open. The sound reverberates through the room as if the house itself is exhaling frustration. He sets down the camera, trying to provoke one final reaction. But what follows is silence. The kind that feels deliberate, like something watching from just out of sight. By the end of the night, Lee gives up trying to reason with it. He switches off the devices, muttering to himself about the uselessness of cameras and sensors. Yet, as he leaves the room, the door creaks open one last time behind him, slowly, as though to remind him who's really in control. It's moments like these that make you wonder, when a house refuses to stay quiet, is it still a home? Or has it already become something else entirely? Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.